Thank you all so much for being here. I'm Ted Nielsen, and I'm the Chief Product Officer here at Bidgely. And what I want to talk with you today in our product keynote is both kind of celebrating our successes over the last year, but really looking forward. Where are we investing? Where are we seeing the trends? And how do we want to respond to that so that we can make you more successful as an organization? As an AI company, we believe deeply that the right data about what programs to run and how your customers are going to respond to those programs, what's actually happening behind the meter is going to help you unlock an absolutely transformational future. And up until now, we have built a thriving ecosystem on top of that right data. We've built our customer experience, our engagement, grid products, and analytics workbench products on top of UtilityAI. And those products you have used absolutely incredibly. Today, we ingest close to 1 terabyte a day of that right data. That's data that every single day we are able to use to improve those models, to help you improve those outcomes, and to make those products more powerful and to make them more impactful. And they're so impactful, in fact, we've added close to 12 million new meters in pilots in just this year alone. Each one of those represents a customer who now understands what's happening, is receiving coaching that's going to allow them to help shift load, to help them save money, to take advantage of programs that are available to them. Each one of these meters represents a family, someone whose life is being changed because of our choice and because they're enjoying Bidgely's products. But we haven't stopped. We keep investing in those products. Our team has done 37 new releases this year. That's a release that makes those products stronger, that makes that engagement more sticky, that makes the features and capabilities of them even more powerful. Now, I said we were an AI company, and we have the stats to prove it. Close to 1/4 of Bidgely's employees are in data science and data analytics roles. That means that giant pile of data that we have to process every single day becomes more powerful. We develop more signal. We increase our accuracy, and we're able to connect better and better every single day because close to 1/4 of the company is focused on understanding how to put that data to work. Now, most of you are probably familiar with horizontal AI. So tools and frameworks like OpenAI's ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Mistral, the knowledge and agent frameworks like those presented by Glean, who our keynote speaker is from for tomorrow, as well as Microsoft Copilot and others. The data ecosystems that are being built by Snowflake, Teradata, and Databricks. And finally, even the cloud ecosystems and what they're offering at AWS and GCP and others. These are horizontal AI systems. They help pull and fish information like marketing information that's going to be super useful for pre-sales. Helping operations understand what's actually happening in CX so that you can ask questions of your data and just understand what's going on and what's happening. And all of this happens within a larger framework of having security and governance in place so that it's done safely, securely, and with respect to data requirements and jurisdictional requirements. But this is horizontal AI. It helps pull information together and kind of unite your organization and the understanding of your organization, but it's built for everybody. It handles all of the problems. The thing is while horizontal AI will unify an organization and unify that data footprint, it's vertical AI that helps drive that organization forward. And that looks like a microphone sitting on top of a piece of equipment in a factory, listening for subtle changes in the sound so it can send an alert and say, by the way, it's about time to repair this. It's all of the incredible ways that we have begun to detect earlier and earlier stage cancers in the human body. And what used to be a black box is now something that we can understand very deeply. And even how to map a field so that you can plow it most efficiently. Now, on this slide, every single one of these pictures, and there are over 50 of them, and I had to put them all on there, every single one of these pictures has a story. Something remarkable is happening in travel and in operations and in logistics. Even in gambling, whether you do that in Vegas or on the stock market. And I'll tell you, if you corner me later tonight, I'll even tell you the story about the papyrus in the corner. Every single one of these, something is being done that makes sense just for that vertical, just for that space. It's not something that's reusable. Now, for the eagle eye of you in the room, you may look and say, well, where am I in this picture? What does my future look like? What does this mean for utilities? And so we've thought about this. We've talked about this as Bidgely, and we've realized that our passion and our focus for vertical AI in the utility space is putting the existing infrastructural investments in AMI 1.0 to work, to help actually ensure that affordability is possible for your ratepayers, increasing the resilience and the responsiveness of your grid, helping you manage rates and help change and shift your customers' behavior. Because at the end of the day, even the best operators in this room aren't going to be able to do it alone. You need your customers. You need them to work with you and to be your partners. And some of that is including them, getting them to play along. And so I'm so happy to say that we are unleashing UtilityAI. Those 25 patents that we have secured across true hourly disaggregation, not a statistical model, but in fact true machine learning to help understand not just how people are using it and using their appliances, what appliances they're using, but importantly, when. We also understand the profile and efficiency of those appliances to help you be able to zoom in and understand what air conditioners are saturating at certain temperatures, what kind of chargers are present. That one of our customers turned on our DER detection algorithm and discovered over 11,000 undetected electric vehicles on their grid. Finally, there are other areas like helping stem revenue loss through theft. And all of this then helps you understand at a granular, meaningful level the segmentation and propensities of those customers, understanding deeply, person by person, meter by meter, what is actually going to work, what does change look like for them, and what does their usage actually look like. And so when we think about what it means to have access to this level of information, you're not dealing with statistical uncertainties. You're not guessing anymore. You know. You know when people are using their HVAC, what temperature things saturate, how it's being fueled, whether the quality of it is degrading. You know when they're charging, you know how much people are charging their vehicles and what confidence that you have that it's an L1 or an L2 charger. You know what the capacity is of that solar panel on someone's house, so you can use that in your planning. This isn't just usage. This is actually deep rooted understanding that becomes a fundamental part of your data architecture and your infrastructure that allows you to build and plan a utility ready to face 2035. Importantly, because it's part of that core ecosystem, it means that you have virtually endless use cases. Whether it's looking at deferring substation upgrades, doing measurement and verification for demand response programs, actually looking and designing the best rate and the best program fit, or looking at those HVACs that maybe are degrading and connecting it directly with the maintenance marketplace to help improve its performance on the grid. It's item after item after item. That thriving ecosystem that I talked about earlier that up until now only Bidgely has built has just gotten infinitely larger because you now have access to the same information, the same kind of brain in a jar that we have been using to create and craft our own products. And so I wanted to make it a little more grounded. And so here is a great example of data from a real grid, sort of understanding within the context of these peak hours, how many homes have medium and low short cycling. What does that mean in terms of performance and impact in this specific zip code, in this specific area of your specific grid? This isn't general information. These are real homes. These are real meters. And understanding in those that have short cycling, what temperature are they saturating at? In this first example, they're actually saturating at 80 degrees. That is incredibly, incredibly high. That is extraordinarily inefficient. And so this means that you can look, understand, and target exactly where to intervene. This is no longer a spray and pray model where you hope that maybe someone will open the letter and maybe the people opening the letter it's going to be useful information to them and maybe the ones that actually read it are going to use it and engage. All of a sudden you know exactly who you need to connect with and exactly what you need to do to create the change that you need to operate the grid of the future. And that extends obviously beyond HVAC, and here's an example with electric vehicle where you can see and understand exactly what kind of charger there is, when they're charging, if they're doing something unusual like charging in the middle of the day when most of the time they're actually on the end. And it's not just in HVAC, this also extends into electric vehicles and other kinds of distributed energy resources. Taking and looking at the kind of noisy heat maps, and let me tell you, Abe has never met a heat map he doesn't love, looking at the noisy heat map and actually seeing the specific home, the specific meter, what is their behavior, what's happening, what kind of charger do they have, are they doing something unusual like charging in the middle of the day? You can see they normally charge overnight. Well, all of a sudden, maybe during the winter, they're charging more in the middle of the day. This is dynamic because, let's be honest, people's lives are dynamic. They change, the circumstances change. There's the first day that they ever plug in an EV, and our ability to quickly detect and then quickly respond and quickly get them enrolled in the right program is exactly the kind of nimbleness that you need as an organization. Now, importantly, this doesn't just happen at the meter level. Yes, homes are important, these families are important, their behavior is important, but there's more to the grid than the meter. So you need to be able to understand and roll up at every single level of your grid to go from these incredible and granular insights to actually find and develop the kind of aggregated strategies. They're going to help you with specific timings for the powerful analysis that you need to proactively manage your grid. So in this particular case, it's seeing and understanding that the transformer in a given neighborhood is suddenly at capacity the moment peak hours are over because all 5 cars on that transformer turn on. And it's understanding, and this level of understanding, when we talk later about distribution grid planning, you're going to see how this comes to life, not just at the meter level, not just at the transformer level, but at every level of an asset that your grid is managing. Finally, and most importantly, we had talked about those horizontal AI solutions. UtilityAI Pro is amazing, but it also makes those horizontal solutions even more incredible. So in this example, which is a little hard to read, but play along with me. In this example, someone's just asking a question. It all doesn't have to be a dashboard. I'm sure every single person in this room has dashboards that they don't look at as often as they need to. And so this case is someone just coming in and saying, how many electric vehicles are in this given city? And how many of them have L2 chargers? This allows these horizontal AI tools, which again are built for every organization, to take and capitalize on the incredible data that's been generated. Again, this becomes a fundamental part of your data ecosystem, and that includes these new tools. Not everything needs to be a dashboard. So in short, this is utility AI like you've never seen it. It's a full ecosystem of machine learning models that help you drive this complete level of digital transformation. It helps you discover insights, empower yourself with these deep capabilities. And this really helps unlock the power of your data with vertical AI. Now, we are in San Francisco, so I'm going to pretend to be Steve Jobs for a moment and say there's one more thing. It's not just incredible machine learning models. It's not just the future that we're unlocking, but these models run, because of re-architecting that we've done, on any compute engine. This means that these models can run wherever the data is. Whether that data is in Snowflake, whether that data is in Databricks, whether it's in a closet in Cincinnati, that data is available to you, and these models can run because of the enhancements that we've made to our technical architecture. And so in this way, you have the incredible infrastructure investments that you've made that are tied together with the powerful existing raw data sets that can run anywhere. These run directly where the data lives. That helps you analyze, and then through Gen AI, understand that data, and then eventually act on that data with agentic AI so that it feeds and powers an organization where every single business operation is shaped and improved because of this information, and it plugs directly into your systems of business insight, all of your existing BI tools and everything else. And so I'm so excited to see what all of you are going to build. I know what we've built on top of it, and this kind of ecosystem, that thriving ecosystem built on the right data, well, the right data just got a little bit bigger because now you have access to it.